There's no one on there right now, but I wanted to talk about. Well, first, I just had a small class that I was doing here in San Diego with another construction company that's looking to get in public works, and decided to do a live video right after this class. The class was awesome. They're looking to start to get into outside the residential side, looking to get into the commercial side of things, and they're busier than I don't know what right now. Great time for them to start moving into that area. Discussed a lot with them. I learned a lot as well. It was pretty informative. But I wanted to talk about getting your contractor's license, right? So there's two types of individuals out here. There's one that want to get their contractor's license, and then there's two that's getting their contractor's license, right? They're already signed up for a program and they're getting their contractor's license. They're already preparing for the course, for the state exam, all right? So what's holding back the ones getting or ready to get your contractor's license? What's holding you back? It could be maybe you don't know enough, right? Maybe you haven't done the research. Maybe you have run into some roadblocks where people are being dishonest with you with different schools, or you're just listening to people out in the field that haven't even went through the process and they're holding you back, right? It could be it's just a large task for you, for you to get through to get your contractor's license. But I tell you, once you start the process, it's pretty easy after that. And then you'll wonder why you haven't taken those steps before. It's a lot of information to absorb, but when you're already in the trade doing the work, and then you start to study the materials a little bit more, it becomes a lot easier than you think. I promise you. The lighting here it's not that great. There we go. Comes a lot easier than you even think. And once you get the rocking and rolling, you sign up for your application, the process starts. And then in the end, once you get your license, be the happiest moment in your entire life. So I will say this, for the ones that are on the fence, the ones that are thinking about it, the ones that are pumped up for brief moments on getting your license, looking into it, and then you draw back, take the step. Take that next leap. It's going to be easier than you think, especially if you choose the right school, the right study course material, and then also choosing the right classification to go after, right? You have to understand with the A classification what it's for, what you can actually do with the A, what the B is for, and what the C classification, and then down to the D classifications, right? A lot of people don't talk about the D classifications because a lot of schools don't share that information, but there's a classification for everything that you do related to the construction industry. So choosing that classification, moving forward, but also too, I want to note this. When you choose that classification, you need to make sure that that classification is also for now and for the future, right? Where you're going, right? You can't just choose something now that's actually going to limit you because there's so much work out here right now. You want to choose a classification that's going to prepare you for what's coming, right? And you may not know what's coming, right? But you don't want, at the same time, you don't want to be limited, right? If you be limited, then you can't prepare for what's coming, right? So you want to be, you want to prepare for what's coming by choosing the right classification, right? And that may be choosing the right classification, but setting up your application to be able to sign up for the next classification. You may have to do something like that. Not sure how where your experience lies or what classification you want to go for, but you want to keep that in mind, okay? I wouldn't say one of the mistakes I made, but one of the things that helped me back a little bit is when I went and got my C8 contractor's license. I actually should have got my A contractor's license first. I got my C8, and that allowed me to do some driveways. I was really focused on the work I was doing in that moment. And then when I kind of, got all my experience in that area, and I was rocking and rolling, and I wanted to get into some bigger work. I needed my A license for the route that I was taking, and I didn't have it. So I had to hold back, and by me holding back, I wound up taking some other deals, and they were great, but not where exactly where I wanted to go and how fast I wanted to be there. So I signed up, got my A license, and I was able to pursue those opportunities, but I missed those initial opportunities because I didn't have it in the beginning. So that's something to think about there. Let's talk about the individuals that's already, signed up for the exam, getting ready to take their test, and three things that worries individuals, right? So you already are a little skeptical with taking your test because it's a big task, right? And that's understandable. Another thing is, after you get your license, where do you find the work as a licensed contractor? How am I going to get this thing off the ground? What I'm going to do? And then next, how do I grow this thing, right? So setting up for taking your state exam is focusing on studying what you don't know, right? And I'm talking about studying to the point where all you know is the material you're studying. Okay, you have to have you have to be consistent. You have to have a passion about it. You have to have that oomph, that desire in you to want to retain that information, and you have to know how you absorb information. How do you learn from things, right? How do you take in this information that you're studying, and then also go into the exam always knowing you're going to walk out as a licensed contractor. That's very important. Going into the exam knowing that you're going to walk out as a licensed contractor. Next is getting to work. Now, you have to realize as a licensed contractor, you passed the test, you passed the state exam, you got your bond, they have issued your license number. We're excited, right? But now, once you get that license, what work? How do you get this work? How do you find this work? Well, one thing you have to know, you can't go for the same work that you've been going for as an unlicensed contractor, right? Like the Craigslist, these other platforms that I don't know about where you can actually get work from being unlicensed, right? It's a totally different market now. So you have to know where to find work as a licensed contractor. So you may have to sign up for the eBid board, you may have to sign up for a bid clerk. Now, once you sign up for these subscriptions, it's very important that you put in the work to understand what you're going for, right? To understand what fits you as a company, right? What type of work do you want to do? You can't just go for everything underneath the sun. And it sounds great. Hey, I don't want to turn down anything. I need to work. But having a focus on the work that's going to make you the most amount of money. It's not so much doing the biggest job. It's focusing on the job that makes you the most amount of money. Most amount of money you can actually put in your pocket. And that's what's important. And you can do those jobs with your eyes closed. Okay? All right, and then you just grow bigger with those jobs and looking for jobs that kind of relate to those jobs and go outside of that area and work your way around to where you're doing everything that surrounds with painting. You're doing everything that surrounds with drywall. You're doing everything that surrounds with electrical. But start in the areas that you know, start in the areas that you feel comfortable with, and get out here and go for those jobs that have plans. Go for those jobs that have to pull permits, and that's where the money is going to be at. That's where the growth is going to be at. And then once you get those, it's very important that you either hire a salesperson, hire an estimator, someone that can actually help you bid on this work and keep things going, and then work out different terms with those individuals, right? You may want to give them part of ownership. You may want to pay them on a monthly basis. You may want to pay them per job they land, I don't know, but going after that work and going after that work aggressively on the stuff that you know. So, hey, I gotta go. Anybody got any questions? Hit me up for any questions. Oh, and tomorrow we're doing another YouTube Live. We're doing a YouTube Live tomorrow at 1. So if you got any questions about your contractor's license, getting your contractor's license, if you already signed up for the state exam, you're worried about things, you can come on, ask us some questions. We'll answer those questions. We'll talk about insurance. We'll talk about concerns. We'll talk about pros and cons. We'll talk about schools. We'll talk about everything that you need to know in this construction industry. So I'm gonna let you go with that. Hope you enjoy what we have to say. See you on the next one. Thanks.